All right, Phantasma soldiers, welcome to the big show. I'm your host with Ghost. They call me the Doctor. I'm here with Wags from Virtue Animations of the Basemint Gang. Thank you for joining us, sir, on the show tonight. Um, so, for those who don't know, Phantasma is making a really big push to be part of the Film 3 scene. We see this as the next wave of entertainment, and Phantasma is definitely one of the places that we want to see people building. So, we've got Wags on here. He's part of, co-founder of the NFT Film Squad, Virtue Animation, and a really great up-and-coming project called the Basemint Gang. Wags, thanks for being here, man. So, tell us a little bit about your journey into this space, some of the past work that you've done. I know you've done work with Lyrical Lemonade, and how you've got to and what is it about Film 3 that's attractive to you, and what was kind of your path getting here?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Always excited to talk to cool people who are building cool stuff as well. So, my journey to start at the very beginning, I was born in like a trailer park in southern Missouri, and out of that, kind of a rough upbringing, but was forced to be an entrepreneur at a young age. So, I think I started my first business at like age 7. I had, was selling T-shirts by age 10, doing decent in that. I remember when I was like 12, I went to Costco and got a 24 pack of water and for like a buck or something, maybe the grocery store. And then I put Kool-Aid in it and I flipped the labels and called it Super Juice. And I was selling them for like $1 on the playground. And I think I got in trouble for that
We
actually.
used to buy these like sour gum balls like from in bulk from the candy store and sell those for $1 in middle school too, man. So I'm right with you there on that. Sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah,
yeah, keep.
no, 100%. We actually put Super Juice into the Basement Gang just as, it's kind of this underdog story. And, that's my story. So, as I was going through high school, college, I paid my way through by knocking doors in 110-degree summer heat. So, again, just always been like a hustler, entrepreneur, and I learned a lot of lessons at a young age on life and business. And then out of school, kind of got the dream from Missouri. I know you're from Missouri, so
Same.
go work at Anheuser-Busch, right? So America's company based in St. Louis. So got a spot there, lowest level of the company. And I'm just a relentless learner. So I went and taught myself master's level statistics, how to code, got my Six Sigma black belt, and started applying big data analytics to the business, built an app for the company. And then at 26, the head strategy guy at the time said, "Hey, I want you to be my right hand man." So I got moved to New York, where the new headquarters were, and sat on a $32 billion business building brands, strategy, sales, marketing, M&A, you name it. So really, really lucky for that opportunity. Got to learn a ton at a high level. And then at 28, they made me the youngest executive at the company. So I made it to that point, and I kind of looked around, and I was like, "Is this it? Is this the top? Like, is there, do I want to stay doing this?" And I'm an entrepreneur at heart, so I left with not really having a plan. At that time, crypto was starting to get hot, so left and dove into crypto, and this is 2017, like Q3. Had a nice little wave running up the ladder in that bull run. And I'm a builder, so I started building a company on Ethereum that summer. We were leveraging a smart contract, which really was an NFT at the time, for international blockchain logistics. And then our ICO was set for late January, and the crash happened 2 weeks before that. And I think in the span of 40 days, lost the company and a bunch of money pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So learned a lot of lessons from that. When I tell people right now who might be, struggling with loss of money or company or whatever, is like, look, this is crypto. There are cycles, emerging technology. You're going to have some volatility, but everything's a cycle. So,
Mm-hmm.
we might have a bear market for a couple of years, but if you would have kept building in 2018, you would have done really well in this cycle.
Yep.
OpenSea's a great case study. They ate shit for 3 years. And then 2021, they become a $10 billion
Right.
plus company. And it's the same, like their cycles happen all the time. Amazon in 2000, after the crash, went to close to zero, barely hung on. Tesla, same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're in that same cycle. I keep building through the bear. So I think after that journey, I started working with different, brands and companies to help them grow and scale with their strategy. One of those companies was Lyrical Lemonade. Cole Bennett's a legend, and
Yeah,
he
absolutely.
turned lyrical into this global, brand sensation.
Hmm.
Uh, music videos, events, there's products. So that's been a really fun journey to work and help Cole grow lyrical. And then separately, I've just always had a passion for animation. So it was probably like October of 2020. Top Shot was going off. I had known this guy, Bob Bacon, through the industry, and I called him up. Bob's story is pretty interesting. He was EVP at Disney. He was president of Paramount Animation. And then after a few years, he went to go be Kobe Bryant's partner.
Hmm.
And Kobe had this vision and dream to go make animated content that was inspiring and educational. So he hired Bob to be his partner, and they had this amazing vision. I've seen a lot of that, those stories, and unfortunately, Kobe passes.
Right.
So Bob was kind of retired at that point, and he's a big basketball fan. So I called him and was like, "Hey, have you heard of Top Shot? This is cool." So we started DJing and went into the Top Shot game, and through that, started to really like go back and realize like, wow, like I remember this from the last cycle because I kind of took 3 years off, like a lot of
Hmm.
people, on wow, this is an entirely new way for for business, for media, music, entertainment. And I think this has the opportunity to completely change the dynamics within film, music, a lot of industries. So we formed Virtue at that time, probably December 2020 officially. um, One of my really good buddies, so we brought on Alex Orel.
Hmm.
Alex was a artist animator at Pixar, and then also Mark, who's won an Emmy, and he's done a lot of cool things in the space or in
Right.
the world. And our first project, one of my best buddies is Doc Rivers' son Jeremiah, and his sister married Seth Curry. So I was with Jay in January of 2021, and I was like, "You guys should do your own project. You don't need the league. You don't need licenses. This is what peer to peer is all about." So I'm like, Top Shot's making billions, and the players are getting paid basically $0 from that
Exactly.
money, and they're using their highlights. And I'm like, that's not what Web3 ethos are about. So they started their own project, and Virtue did some of the art, the animation, some of the the story building and the lore, and that ended up becoming a player DAO, which is exciting. And it's when you saw all the NBA guys buy their apes, that was from
Right.
that DAO onboarding education thing. So then Virtue did another project in the summer, which was like CGI. We did avatars and a really cool trailer, and it's a beast to do CGI 3D animation. So I think
Yeah.
at least for me, it's like $1 million a minute. And for me in this space, I'm like, wow. I think that speed and story and jokes and humor might fit the space a little
Hmm.
bit more now. So we started building Basement Gang probably late 2021. So it's been close to a year of building this business model. The storyline, the characters, and the whole ecosystem
Hmm.
model. We're really excited about Basement Gang and where it can go. And I can keep sharing, but maybe I'll stop there
Yeah.
and see if you have questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, so this is really cool, and we'll get in a little more to some of these projects and talk about the basement gig a little more. But I just wanted to, ask you some general questions about animation and Film 3 in general. So, I know with I know with the game creators, over the past couple of years, a lot of them are saying that we put in the hard work. We get all the money squeezed out of us. I know that Hollywood, film production, animation, and when you're talking about uh, equity for the creators, I assume that this the next wave of that kind of fallout within the creative industry. What is it about Film 3 and this new movement that is so appealing, and how do you see it like fitting into the overall Web3 economy here in the next couple of years?
Yeah, it's Film 3 is super exciting. I think that every good movement or company or new model, it's derived from problems. So the current problems that exist in film, a lot of people don't know, or if you are a creator, artist, animator, and you have a really good idea, the odds that you get a meeting with a big studio is slim to none. And if you do get a meeting, the odds they pick up your script are even smaller. And if they do pick up your script, you're not going to get paid for it. They're going to own your IP. They're going to cut you a shit deal. And even if you made the next Stranger Things, and they did cut you some sort of like, net profit, there's a thing in Hollywood called creative accounting.
Mm-hmm.
Creative accounting is a way to make the expenses exceed the revenue. You don't even have visibility into that. And an example is Harry Potter is 450 million in the red, but
Right.
we all know what Harry Potter's done. So it's a really flawed, broken, old system. Same thing in music. And Film3 really gives us a whole new opportunity to reset and address some of these problems where more creators, more people who want to be involved in the industry have that opportunity. And I think there's, the whole concept of peer-to-peer distribution. So I'm a creator or a music artist. I can go directly to the people, and I don't have to use the big studio or a distributor or a Netflix. And I think we're a while until we get there. But really exciting that the future is creator-led, it's idea-driven. And, if you can come up with great ideas and do, good work, you've got a good opportunity to do, I say that Web3 is not about making money. It's about freedom. It's about freedom to do what you want to do every day and not have to do a job to pay your bills and pay taxes and then die. And unfortunately, that's been pretty much all of humanity.
Right.
People have just had to show up and do their job and live within the box that the society wants you to live in. But it's Web3 is it's a whole new potentially like future for the world, and I think that stimulates a renaissance where things get more creative, more cool. We see ideas that have never would have had a shot to come to life. I think that hopefully a lot of the suits that have always controlled the world, the power, the profits, are cut out, and it's really an exciting future for creators. And then on the other side, if you're a community member and you just love film or you love a certain idea or brand, now you have an opportunity to really participate and collaborate and add value to the brand and be a partner in it. And like I said before, with Virtue, we don't have community members or customers, we have partners. And that's such an important mindset, because as we think about growing our roadmap, strategy, what to do next, we're consulting the community, we're taking that feedback, and we're doing this as a team, because the old adage, if you can find 1,000 true fans, it's the most powerful thing in the world.
Absolutely.
1,000 people who really care about your thing and are down to be partners and help in whatever capacity they can is a really powerful tool. And we're seeing some examples of that play out, of 1,000 people being able to take something, global. Bored Ape kind of really was like 1,000 people who were just diehards about that brand, and they did what they did. And, now that rest is history, $4 billion company in a year. So a really exciting time. And Film3, we're so early in the movement, but it's exciting after slugging it out for 2 years. I know Jordan would say the same, and others that have been pioneering Film3. We're finally breaking through. In August, you started to see people talk about film and story as a part of this. And now, storytelling NFTs went viral this week. And it was like, wow.
Big time. Right. Yeah. Which is really cool. I love that.
It's cool. And people finally figured out, like, you can't just launch soulless IP and have like, a PFP and no story, because story is so powerful. That's what, connects people emotionally. And Steve Jobs, has a quote that says something like, storytellers are the most powerful people in the world. And without story, how do you keep people engaged? So we're really working on bringing these characters to life and doing it through storytelling, whether it's the content. We have the radio show every Friday where we're actually bringing the characters to life.
I love that. I tuned in last week and listened to the whole thing. It was so great, man. One thing that you mentioned was you mentioned the word renaissance, and is Web3 the new renaissance where we're combining art and technology? I guess you could call that science, to bring about like real true change. Do you think?
I do. I like to call it the Genaissance, but just for fun. Yeah, I do. Like, what's so wild right now is like, just on our team, right? We have a guy that used to run Disney and Paramount, and then we have a guy who's an insane savant developer. mega nerd, and then we've got a black music artist, a girl music artist. We've got like all genders, races that all have these different talents, artists, animators, musicians. When has that ever existed in a company before? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty, the diversity there, not just in people, but the diversity in talents
Mm-hmm.
for them all to actually be working together to fuse tech and art and music and story. It's really, really interesting. And even if you were making a film back, 10 years ago, or, through history, you kind of had those pieces, but never were those people actually working together.
Right.
It was like, hey, just deliver this and we'll put
Yeah.
it. But this is truly so fascinating to be like in a room brainstorming with all these different minds. And I think ultimately, when you put a diverse team together, with everybody with different skill sets and experiences, you can really build something unique and innovative and cool. And it's just an exciting time.
Absolutely, it's one of the coolest things about Web3 to me. Like, I don't have a degree. I didn't go to college or anything like that, but here I am putting my talents to work, being able to host a show, host an interview for a layer one blockchain, just through the fact that it's something that I love, and I contributed to the community and found my way into that, and that's like, to me, that's the purest and best form of reward and hard work, and I think that Web3 and this decentralized community and the ownership of authoring, it's authoring our community. That's one of the biggest virtue, by the way. I mean, was that what part, what's the name behind virtue animation? What brought that? And speaking of animation, here's the question. You said that you were a fan earlier on our pre-call. So animation, typically, it's always been kind of geared towards adults. You think of like some of the older stuff from the 30s and 40s and 50s. Even Bugs Bunny, the original Bugs Bunny, was geared for adults. And then in the 90s, I know that Mark Levine worked on Spike and Ike, so he was out there sourcing things like Beavis and Butthead and things like that to the Spike and Ike Film Festival. How important is adult animation or this kind of creative animation in today's society, as far as like setting trends and being, of course we have South Park, who's been doing topical stuff over the years. I know you said Basement Gang wanted to do something similar, and now with like culture and music and all that kind of stuff combining, like how important is animation to modern society? Because I think it plays a huge role in the tone of what we're doing.
Say that one more time.
Adult animation, things like, over the years, animation's kind of always been geared towards adults. Like in Bugs Bunny, early stuff was Bugs Bunny, moving all the way up, and then in the late '90s, we kind of had this explosion of this surreal adult animation with Cartoon Network and things like that. And how important do you think that is, especially South Park, to the kind of tone of today's society, as an animation fan yourself?
Yeah, I mean, what was interesting is like, I think animation was always geared towards kids, and you kind of had this underbelly, underground movement with Spike and Mike, where these guys were making degen cartoons that were
Mm,
adult humor, and there was nowhere to put it. They didn't have a place to put that content, so they kind of created this space to go debut those films that ended up becoming Beavis and Butthead and South Park and Cartoon Network shows. So that was the first movement. And I think like now you've got a wide diversity of content, which is cool. But even then, it's still relatively limited in
mm,
like who it's made for, who it's made by. Yesterday, I met with Baron Davis, and he has some really cool ideas. For more like African American centric content. He has one called Black Santa, which is super cool and funny. But I think a lot of underrepresented communities, or like you said, like a lot of people with probably really creative, new, fun ideas have never got the shot to
mm-hmm.
tell those stories and see those come to life. And the reason for that is there's gatekeepers in Hollywood who make all the decisions. And usually, if they have the money, or a studio, they're going to go with, if you're a corporate guy, you're going with the safe idea. So you'd rather
Mm-hmm.
make Spider-Man for the 18th time
Right.
because their KPIs or bonus is tied to that year's performance.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not tied to what happens in 5 years. So if they make the next Star Wars franchise, it doesn't matter if they post it this year, it doesn't hit. So they go for the safe route, which is a lot of the same shit we've seen. And then investors don't, there's not really people that invest in independent films and
Mm-hmm.
ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you can see where this causes problems and how the system becomes broken because you're not seeing anything new, fresh, and cool. And again, Web3 now gives us the opportunity where like maybe a specific IP fits a specific demo who would really enjoy that, but it's not big enough for a Disney or
Right.
a Paramount. But now it's like you can have sub micro communities where maybe 100,000 people love that thing, and that's
Mm-hmm.
all that matters. Who cares if you're making some like Basement Gang can eventually grow up and be for the mainstream masses and can bring in
Mm-hmm.
more mainstream jokes and people. But right now it's very geared towards Web3 people, so
Yeah.
the jokes, the memes, it's going to go over your head if you haven't been in the space, and that's okay because we're building it with Web3 people for
Yeah.
Web3.
Yeah, of course. Speaking of which, let's go ahead. I'm going to cut to a screen share here, and I want to show off kind of the website, and also and also so the Basement Bible. Let's talk about a little bit about some of the benefits of being like a founding member of the Basement Gang, and just speak a little bit about. I want to kind of go in because I really like what you're doing with the vision and the overview. So how about like maybe an overview of some of these characters that we see on the couch here? Can you give us a little idea of what some of these guys are doing down here? Because it looks like they're up to no good, or have been up to no good at some point.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, basically the storyline here that'll you'll kind of get the taste of it over the next week or two. But the
Yeah.
storyline is these are like basement bums. They kind of they're all their backstories are actually posted up on the website. You can go to basementgang.com and see the backstories for each of these characters. And then like I said, they each have their own Twitters. They're acting on Twitter, and then they're on the radio show, so you can hear them, their voices, really bring them to life. So a new way to story tell. But these guys are basement bums. They were all rug pull projects, and they're kind of underdogs that are just at this point smoking weed and chilling in their basement. And then something will happen, and they decide like, hey, we want redemption. We want to become heroes and save the metaverse. And it's a fun storyline, the underdog journey story, and they go on the journey to and the cool part of that is the Basement Gang is like your Marvel like parent
Mm-hmm.
group, and as they go on the journey through the metaverse, which is awesome as a storyteller because there's no rules. They can go to Ape World, they can go to Cool Cats Land, wherever they want to go. So they go to a place, they go to a new world, they meet some new characters, and then at the end of the episode, one of those characters joins the gang. So you have this growing universe of characters and storylines as they go on this journey. And then what I think is cool is just like Marvel has different characters and they all have their own stories that became spin-off movies. Potentially, if one of these episodes hits and they go to Gary Vee's new project Flowers, they go to Flowers World, and that one people love, so they're like, we want to see that series. So
Mm-hmm.
that becomes a spin-off series
Right.
that was like originally from Basement Gang that becomes its own kind of
Sure,
property. So,
you got the DGen Avengers and the Fantastic Four or whatever you want to do there. That's really cool, and I do really appreciate the fact that you've got. By the way, Pudgy Pat, he's got quite an attitude. I heard on the he's a wise guy. I heard on the stream the other day. So we've got the Basement Game overview. We've got a great team, full of industry pros. But one of the things that like talk about the evolving and animated NFTs and how that's going to kind of work. I want to let people give people an idea of like some of the deeper sauce that's going on within this, because I think you've got a really good plan lined out for the community members, and there's actually a lot of value in here.
so what's next for Basement Gang?
Yeah, like let's talk about like like how like here we got with the screen here, how being involved in the story, how the NFT traits kind of play into stuff. I'm just looking through the Basement Bible a little bit here, and just kind of explain some of these concepts.
Yeah, 100%. So we wrote the Basement Bible because I understand that this can be, a little bit complex, right? I think there's different elements going in here. So, this is a brand, it's an ecosystem, and this ecosystem is comprised of, content, NFTs. We did the custom music soundtrack. There's gamification and events. So we can break down kind of each one. The first one is the story, right? So there's a storyline, there is content that goes with that. Right now, they are like story chapters, they're shorts as
Hmm.
we get to the mint. After that, we'll expand the content. I think we'll always make it free so everyone can watch and enjoy it. But a lot of the collaboration parts, the partnerships is where, as a holder, you'll get to participate in the story. So you can see the collaboration. Every Monday, we do a writer's room. You can share ideas, and we'll incorporate that into that week's episode. Um, Partnerships with, there's all this cool IP in Web3, but they haven't done anything with it yet. So, hey, come into the Basement Gang and be part of this, and let's build this collectively. And then the NFTs, right? A lot of people are like, yo, what are we minting? And what am I actually getting? It's a great question. You're not getting a derivative of the Basement Gang main characters. You are actually going to become you're going to become a character in the story.
I love that.
So you'll get to the last like mini episode here, and you'll see what happened and how these characters were born, and then you get to mint and come be a part of the story. They're really cool little dudes, little characters, and I think they're fun. They're inspired by a couple of things, which you'll figure that out later.
Hmm.
But we're having a lot of fun making them. The NFTs are actually animated, so the props, the hair, the backgrounds move, which I think no one's ever done it like that.
Hmm.
You had invisible friends, but this is kind of next level. And then the NFTs evolve, right? So what does that mean? Well, we have on-chain staking, and as you stake, really it's actually called training because these guys need to train and power level up.
Right.
And as you stake, which will be available right after the mint, you'll actually be able to unlock new traits. So after 7 days, something's going to unlock, you get a new trait. After 30 days, you'll be able to unlock a new trait. They'll both be like visual, but they also have a value that are important in the game, right? So think about adding a trait, you now have more valuable NFT that you
Hmm.
can sell, but also this is going to help you in the game to earn more rewards and be, really get, and as you the rewards are cool, right? If you go to that rewards pool, it's ETH, it's NFTs, it's tickets to things like the
Right.
Super Bowl and music festivals and flyaway trips to cool places. So we're thinking about this as like, how do we get people excited and engaged? Your NFTs are evolving, and then the rewards that you'll earn by participating and engaging within this ecosystem are going to be really rad. And it's not just ETH, it's not just NFTs, it's
Hmm.
real experiences, cool fashion collabs, and all these things we'll be bringing to our community. The music thing, I think, is just a lot of fun. Um, we now have 15 artists on the music soundtrack.
Nice.
There's You can actually go listen to most of the songs on the site right now, and then that music is actually tied into the episodes. We just dropped chapter 3 out as we were on this, and the song that we use in that is actually a Snoop Dogg and Timbaland track that
Oh,
we
nice.
yeah, that's a collab. We licensed that to use for the soundtrack,
Very
and
nice.
then how would this music be given to the community? You're going to have the opportunity to actually earn this for free, not
Hmm.
asking you to mint it
Yeah.
or pay for it. You can earn the music soundtrack, and it's going to be the first ever music NFT soundtrack. So one NFT has all 15 songs in it. No one's ever done that
Hmm.
in this space. So there's also like a historic like provenance factor here that you got to earn this by being in the Basement Gang community, and you had the first ever soundtrack, and it's
That's
like
awesome.
freaking cool artists. It's Swayze, Wax Motif, Daniel Allen, who's the leader in Music Web 3. Pussy Riot, and we're adding more every day because people are like, hey, I want to get involved in that.
Right.
So
Yeah, that
having
Swayze track is tight, dude. That I love that. I love that intro track. Swayze and Pussy Riot, by the way, both going to be part of the NFT Film Fest coming up, or I'm sorry, the Film 3 Film Fest coming up in next month, right? They're both slated to appear there, I believe.
hopefully we can get them to perform. We're working on finalizing like who's on the panel, who's
Yeah.
performing music, but yeah, I think that's going to be a cool experience. And like the DJ and Sundance. So we
Yeah.
also have, like I said, the on-chain staking is a part of the gamification, but the
Mm-hmm.
um, gamification that we're speaking about, it's not a full video game, right? Because you can't build that in a quick time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to the next tab, um, gamification, we will have mini games that you'll be able to play, and they're fun, they're simple, they're engaging, and you'll earn cool rewards. Our guy building these games is a guy, Lawrence from Scalio. He built Candy Crush and a host of other games. He was with Game Show Network
Wow.
and Apple before that. So you can see if you go through our team, people should definitely check that out. Our team is the real deal. We've assembled an absolute dream team. So we hired the writer from The Simpsons last week to help with the writing. So really, really excited about all these amazing, talented people. And so the games are going to be fun and engaging, and we'll roll kind of a new one out, but they actually tie to the story. So
Mm-hmm.
just imagine in the story that the gang has to go to the Bear Mountains, and they're in the Bear Mountains, and it's cold and it's scary. But if you have a specific trait, maybe you get to go straight through because maybe you're hot,
Aha.
right? And maybe if you have one trait, then you are stuck and you're not going to be able to win that game at all. So, what this creates is a collectability factor where you want to have multiples of these things, or you want to go buy, sell, and trade so you can have the right traits or the
Mm-hmm.
right team to help you win these challenges and earn the rewards. So, really fun thing we're building. And then the last piece that at the end there that's I'm excited about is like
Yes.
funding education and mentorship. And I think like so important for leaders and creators in the space, founders to actually help their community, right? We're saying, hey, you're going to own your Basement Gang IP. You're going to like what you get. But what do you do with that, right? So one thing is once a week on Wednesdays, we'll do an educational series. We'll bring in top people from our team in the space. Maybe one day it's animation and art with Alex, and another day it's how to run a studio by Bob, and maybe another it's media with Matt Medved, who is the founder of NFT Now on our team. Maybe one week it's music with Daniel Allen or Swayze. So education on whatever a variety of topics, and then mentorship. So if there's people in our community who are like, really have this idea, I just don't really know what to do with it, or I could really use a connection here. I've been helping people for a decade with going to chase their dreams successfully. So you got a certain dream or idea. I love it. It brings me so much joy to see someone else go do what they do
Yeah.
and love to do and successfully do it. So mentorship, we'll pick people from the community to do that with. And then lastly, the funding. Once a quarter, we'll do a Shark Tank. People can pitch ideas. Maybe we do that in like a live space or something, and then those videos go out and people can vote on them. And whoever wins will actually fund and help incubate your idea. So I'm
Man.
super excited for that. It's probably like an overlooked part of the project, but I think we really care. I really care about our community and helping them win as well. So, I'm excited for that piece and really
Yeah.
everything we're doing here. And the reason we wrote the Basement Bible is I get it's a lot, but we have a really strategic plan of how we cohesively fuse all of those
No,
things.
it's great, man. And let me tell you, because I was already, super interested in, not only Virtue but the Basement Gang, just on face value. And then when I started reading the Basement Bible, every tab, I was just like, oh man, this is even better, even better, even better. And I got to say that I really love the way. I think that it's a very down to earth approach. I think it's a very fair and democratic approach to what you're doing with your community, and accessible, and gives everybody really an opportunity. And I absolutely love the mentoring. I love the education part of it, and I think that what you're kind of putting together, I think it really truly encapsulates the ethos of Web3, of community, and really, I believe that Web3 is about raising each other up. I mean, that's just my personal thing, right? If I'm not good at something, but by gosh, I mean, there's somebody out there that is, and I should be, and I can talk to that person, and maybe we can help each other out, and that's the beauty of it to me, 100%. And I'll definitely probably be bugging you guys a lot because I'm ready to do voiceovers. Like I said, but that's the coolest thing. Like I told you, like it's something that I used to do as a kid was voiceovers, and now that I know that there's like these animation studios out there, and you just had a contest to voice one of the characters just the other day, which is really neat. And so there's a lot of opportunity out there for people. You're doing your when are you doing your mint? Do you have a date on that yet, or is that still TBD?
The mint should be probably the second week of October. Just don't hold me to it. But
Right.
we have this campaign where we've got the different story pieces, the game, the events, and by the end of that, we'll actually reveal what you're going to mint, so you can see. We'll have some fun stuff there, and then that last week, we'll be excited, and hopefully in that mid October is when we run it, and then right after we start on chain staking. Right after we have content, we have games, so we're not going to
Nice.
have any lag time. You're like, hey, we'll see you in 3 months. Like
Yeah.
we built this thing so that we had some to leak out before the mint and after, and I'm excited to keep building with everybody.
Yeah, man. Day one utility is always, a plus, and you definitely have the team with the chops. You've got a great product, great community so far. I've been really been enjoying being in the server, and so I think we'll just probably wrap it up here about the half-hour mark. So I really appreciate your time. Of course, Phantasma stands ready to help the Film 3 movement in any way, shape possible. We're always here to support you. I just want to thank you for coming on for the interview, and we'll look forward to being part of the Basement Gang in the future.
Awesome. Thanks, man. We appreciate it. Thank you for the time.
All right, thank you so much.